Who is ready, my friends, to take on the beast raid here? Once again, Key to the Heart S2. Excited about this as we cover expert mode. Let's go. With that, thank you for tuning in here today. Appreciate your support. Thank you for the likes and the subs as we continue to grow such an amazing community. If you got a question, if you got a comment along the way, let me know. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to see you in our amazing community and Discord server as well. Now, as the #1 free-to-play player, I'm going to help you break this one down here today on how to conquer the beast raid in expert mode. Now, I do have all these cookies as a free-to-play way, and we got a lot of updates and guides and all those things here on the channel on how to make that happen. So just want to give that a call out. All right, so here we go. When it comes to this beast raid, a couple things that are going to happen here in our expert mode. Okay, now we're not going to break everything down here, but essentially there's 3 different phases for this boss and then a mini game kind of a deal in between. Now, regardless, you can take a look at all this information here to kind of help with those pieces. And here is the key aspects. We do have this right here, these special conditions: min cookie levels 80, skill levels 80, grade goes to 3-star, and treasures go to 12. So very, very important there. Great as a free-to-play player as well, as it's going to up-level a lot of that stuff potentially for you. Certainly not to 90 there on the level, but that's where I would focus on the gap and then go from there. All right, now a couple things here. You do have these team ideas. They've kind of been evolving a little bit here. As you can see, I've made some other free-to-play player guides here on the channel. Today, though, we will be using and utilizing this team. I don't have everything yet, but we're going to also break down all the key aspects, which are the gear, my friends. We got all the gear guides here on the channel as well. And in order to do this, you just hit apply. If you caught my latest episode, we did finally close out and get Eternal Sugar Cookie. There are 2 ways to do that, frankly, in the free-to-play player way. Collect those soul stones throughout kind of the last couple of weeks, and going forward, keep that in mind. And then additionally, my friends, we got the free-to-play player guide on how to collect the Light of Sloth to make it happen, to get their free guaranteed eternal sugar. All right, so here we go. Let's go into it though, because the gear still matters, like I said. So a couple things that I noticed using this team versus the last team. This thing is such a powerhouse. My eternal sugar, I have got absolutely loaded here, over 1 million. That's right, look at this, 1 million power. Ridiculous, my friends. Okay, now it absolutely blows through this and made a huge difference for me. This one was very difficult to complete with my last team. A lot of survivability things, not enough damage output, and because of Eternal Sugar Cookie, made a huge difference there. Okay, Pavlova, that's something you could swap out into another poison type cookie. So if you want to think about it from that perspective, we've got all these poison type cookies. Maybe you want to use matcha, something like that instead. There are some ideas there. Now, the nice thing here, though, as we think about moving in, we got these treasures. We got Old Pilgrim Scroll, Dream Conductor's Whistle, Sleepyhead's Jelly Watch, and then again, a very poison-oriented team here for the first part. Now, in terms of our gear, a couple things. We're on attack, and then here we have kind of a middle range, lots of damage resist bypass. We can remove that, go to attack, go to more poison. I talk about this in my gear guide as well, specifically for this cookie. However, from a PvP perspective, again, that damage resist bypass in there, it's a little nice. All right, so then here we're on cooldown. We got that poison damage here. This would be a good one to swap for Eternal Sugar. Here we're on cooldown, lots of attack and cooldown there. Here we're on attack and more attack, and then here we're on cooldown, a little bit more survivability. You can move more towards attack. You still have an ability to be on a lot more attack here for our expert mode. It gets increasingly harder, and survivability becomes a bigger challenge as we move into the next phase and the next level of the challenge here for beast raid. All right, so let's go back into the team. In the 2 slot here, it's a very steel oriented focus. Hollyberry here for me is not quite there yet in terms of my awaken sass, so stay tuned for that. We've created the free to play player guide, how to make that happen. What we've done here is we've swapped in, we got the Librarian's Enchanted Robes, Violet Rage and Dunes, and then Great Sage's Gem there as well. That's what I put in for the short term. And then on top of that, my friends, really focused on these 4 units in terms of dealing that damage, a little bit more survivability with Cream Ferret and Boost. Now, here's where it really counts as well. In terms of gear, we're shifting off of Solid Almond and damage resist into more attack oriented to get and pump in tons and tons of damage. If you can do that on the Beasuit as well, definitely helps. We're going to end up generally more on survivability in our Beasuits though. Here we're on cooldown, same thing there. Here we're going to attack. We got a little bit more of attack and cooldown there. Here we got attack speed, cooldown HP, and then cooldown. So again, more attack oriented if you can be in that one. If you want to use the steel Beasuits as well to increase that steel damage, that's not a bad idea for this one here as well. All right, so that is a little bit of backdrop on Warden of the Heart here for the Beast Raid in the expert mode, plus the 2 teams in order to help you get by. Now we're going to run through it so that you can see it right here, right now. If you do have a question or comment along the way, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. We'd love to see you in our amazing community and Discord server, my friends. On top of that, it's a great time to like and subscribe. All right, let's focus here and take this thing down. Watch this. It's pretty incredible how fast Eternal Sugar Cookie can rip through a lot of this stuff. And what you're going to find here is even if we lose some of these cookies, it's not really going to be that big of a deal because we're able to absolutely just tank here with Eternal Sugar. Now, one of the things that you can do instead is drop out Pavlova and put in a heal cookie like PV. It's going to make a big difference there for that survivability. However, Eternal Sugar Cookie is going to be able to crank out so much damage that you're going to be able to get through this. And I wanted to show you this original version so that you can see exactly how ridiculous this is in terms of the difference that Eternal Sugar Cookie can make and will make for your team. So heavily focusing on the ability to get that is going to be huge. All right, so now what we got to do is play around here. A little tricky. We like to get all the way up front really quick and get close. Oh, I messed up. Getting close will allow the hits to multiply really quickly here in the front, and then just make sure you stay a little bit more in front as it's moving around. You can back off like that to kind of move around these pieces and stay away from these things here. Get close, get lots of damage in, back out once again, and get in there in terms of that focus, just like that. Now, right when we hit, we want to swap over to steel so we don't lose some of that time in the cooldown. There we go. Look at this. Now we're getting in with our damage on the steel side. And then we're going to have one more round here when it comes to the next portion. Lots and lots of damage. Get ready, D and K for me on the keyboard. There we go. Knock that down. Now you can see how much damage we're putting in. Lots and lots and lots. Huge back off there for this boss. Get ready again. D and K. There we go. Get that damage in. And then we got to get ready for the next piece. There it is. Look at that. So much nice damage. And let's move in again. Get that big shot in. And just stay in front, like I said, just slightly. That one hurt. Let's get another big hit in. And just by slowly staying in front, we're getting all these hits in. You can back off just a little bit. Get a big one in again. Get close. This one's a tricky one. Get around. Now, because it moved in the opposite direction, we still got through there. Now we got a bunch of things. Uh-oh, let's get in there. There we go. All right, get ready. The full team to take this thing down now will be combined. Look at this. We got a much smaller team, but Eternal Sugar holding it up. And here we go. So we got plenty of time with 2 minutes left. We got the weakness up ×2. We can drop these berries here as we're going along the way. I just kind of like to keep clicking them as they come because you may absolutely run out of time. D and K, wake up. There we go. And keep dropping. One more time. And there it is. Look at that. Plenty of time left. That shows the impact of Eternal Sugar Cookie for you.
I didn't think I'd lose, did you?
I like it. Did you think I was going to lose? Anyway, let us know in the comments. Regardless, that is an absolute powerhouse right there. You can look at the damage done, the received, the healing between the teams. You can also look at it this way. Look at this damage done. Incredible right there. Damage received, healing done. healing received. And then if you want to go over here, you can go damage done. See, Hollyberry does a ton in there. Damage received, healing done, and then healing received as well. So pretty important to see that. You can re-break down your stats, see exactly where I'm at. Let's go exit there. And that absolutely crushes expert mode here in the lovely Beast Raid, Key to the Heart. Now, like I said, some other ideas, if you do want to keep this team a little bit more alive, flip in something like PV or another healer, or run 2 healers. It's another way to kind of keep this team up and increase your speed, because that a little bit of additional damage makes a huge difference. Team 2 is perfectly fine for this. As you can see, we're actually still at level 80s on a lot of these. I don't know if you caught that, but that was another little fun piece. We can absolutely upgrade all those cookies to 90 as well and take those things down. So with that, my friends, that is everything that you need to know here on Warden of the Heart expert mode. Love to showcase this stuff so you can see exactly how to help you get by this. With that in mind, if you still have a question, if you got a comment, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you as always, and we'd love to see you in our amazing community and Discord server, my friends. On top of that, thank you for tuning in today. I appreciate your support. Thank you for the likes and the subs as we continue to grow such an amazing community here, my friends. And thank you to our members. I truly appreciate that support. Memberships are available to you. We've got swag merch, affiliate links, all nice ways to contribute, and I appreciate it and support. Don't forget my socials, @me, chat me, stay connected, my friends. With that, we'll see you again soon. Beast Raid, my friends. We've done it. Expert mode here. Eternal Sugar's key. With that, until next time, we'll see you again soon. Keep on running.